Welcome to Gems of Knowledge with your host David Bellman and Justin Kroll. Each week, our experts will answer all of your jewelry questions with Rachel Putney, our social media maven, who will relay your questions to our experts. And now, here's your host, David Bellman.
Hi, I'm David Bellman. We are back. I am here with, of course, Rachel and Elaine discussing the cruise and her shopping experience buying jewelry on the cruise. And we've talked a lot about the details that have led up to the purchase at this point and how they've been very generous with their credit line, offering you an additional, 125% of additional credit so that you can purchase this ring that they had already set for you, it seems like, even before you got the credit. And then it's time to go, and what's happening is the ship's leaving, and they present you with, what, a bunch of papers to sign?
Yeah,
Tell
the
me
papers,
about that.
Okay, my husband and I went to get a quick bite to eat, and, then we went back to pick up the items, and the papers were all ready for us to sign with an X, you sign here, X, you sign there, and we were concerned because our ship wasn't there for that long a period of time, and we didn't want to miss the ship, that's for sure. So, we signed the papers. I mean, I started to read it, and my husband's one of these, like, just sign.
Again, trusting.
So I did, yeah. I signed it, and then we were presented with the jewelry, and that was it.
Did they say to you that the time was short and that they did you feel any pressure that you had to hurry up and sign and go? I thought
they personally did not say that, but my husband and I are the type of people that would rather be there an hour early than a minute late.
Okay.
We didn't know. I mean, we just didn't want to be stranded there.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're presented with all.
But we saw the shopping guides had left too after they saw that we had made that purchase. Mm-hmm. And they had left too, which to me was a sign you better get back to the ship.
Oh, because they were on their way out as well.
Yeah, they were on their way. So
And again, this wasn't all about you. I mean, there's a lot of other people in this store that's going on. Are these sales, whatever they are, seminar people? Are they running around talking to everyone from the ship that well,
I didn't really notice that because I
Okay.
was really just wrapped up in my own personal sale.
No, that's understandable.
But I had an idea that they were just kind of overlooking. And then when we went to pick up our items, I did ask, just out of curiosity, what are your sales average, per individual? And they said, about $2,000 or $3,000. And I said, were any as much as mine?
Yeah.
And they said that there were two other individuals that had purchased as much as I did.
I see.
So.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I was just curious, and I didn't want to be the one that spent the most, but I think I was in that bracket.
Well.
So there were other people that were taken as well, I'm sure.
Well, I think I'd mentioned earlier that I've been doing this jewelry business thing for a long time, and I've run into these situations probably about 50 or 60 times over the years, where people have come in with things that they have purchased on cruises, and just so that you're not alone. This is the story, right?
I've been only doing it for a couple of years, and I've seen it all the time, and they come in so confident, and they're like, well, I got this on the islands. And to them, it's like, it's a big deal. They think it's worth much more. But to us, it's like, we know already that they were taken advantage of.
Yep, because everybody needs to make a commission. And that's the reason why these markups are going to be, that you're going to experience, that we're going to talk about, why the markups are so high, because everybody's got to get a piece. The cruise line needs a piece. The people that are in that third-party company that's the seminar people, they need to get paid. Obviously, they're on the cruise full-time doing this, so that's not a vacation for them. And, of course, everybody on the island who's the premier stores, the pre-qualified safe stores that you can go to, turn out to be the ones that have the most interest in making sure that you're paying the highest possible price. And again, it's all buyer beware out there. And again, not holding it against anyone to make a profit when they running their business and so forth. But when you do it like this, and when people walk away and they think that they've gotten this great deal, and like you did when you come home and you check your ring online, including the other rings that you purchased, only to find out that instead of getting what you thought was going to be a gigantic discount or a huge savings, right? I mean, that's the feeling that you have.
That's right, because they tell us they deal in quantity.
Yep.
They eliminate the middleman. They can pass on their savings to you.
Right.
And I believe them.
Yeah, and the discounts that you'll soon to see are nowhere even close to being anything but just average or even below average type discounts. I mean, you could get this almost in any mall if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So you filled out all this paperwork, and let's see. Well, the next part, and I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but you get home, and immediately you start to question the purchase. And why don't we just talk about that a little bit?
Okay.
How you felt?
Well, if I ever do purchase, a piece of jewelry, I've done business with Bellmans for a long time. And, I place a lot of trust in Bellmans. So we got home on a Sunday, and the first thing in my mind was, I'm going to take it to Bellmans and, have it appraised.
To your local, we'll just call it your local jeweler.
Your local jewelers. Okay. And we got in on Sunday, and I was unable to do it on Monday and Tuesday, but Wednesday I had an opportunity to bring it in, and I did. And I found out that it was worth far less than what I had paid for it. And that really made me sick to my stomach. I started questioning all the items that I purchased.
Right. And that's when you went online.
Yes, I did. I went online to check out one of the rings and the pendants that I bought. And I found that there was a ring on there very similar, or maybe it was the exact same one that I had, for 1/3 less than what I paid for it. So that really, put up a red flag, along with going to the jewelers and finding out that information about the diamond.
Right, and that other ring, that Ammolite ring or whatever, finding that.
Oh, the Ammolite ring, that I just found out. I didn't even bring that into the jeweler. I went online for that. And I just did a search for rings that were similar to that.
And I'm bringing this up, Rachel, in particular, right? Because people are going to assume, right, that the people in the jewelry store are being, not very gracious about it. They say, oh, you bought this from somebody else, so we're going to knock it down, and we're going to say it's not worth it, and we're not going to say it's not worth that. And so they're going to be biased, right, about it. So that's understandable.
Right, but typically appraisals they're appraised for more than what you paid.
Yes. Yeah, when you bring in to have something appraised, typically it's above retail.
More. So the appraisal that you got was way less than what you paid.
Way less.
Yeah. And the important part here is you did a lot of this research on your own. It wasn't the jeweler that was telling you that you overpaid for these items. You went on the internet. You searched these items out specifically.
I did.
Yourself.
Yeah.
So when the cruise line would come back and say, well, that jeweler just says that because they're mad. Sour grapes. They didn't get to sell you a diamond ring.
No, I don't believe that. No.
No, because you figured out at least a good part of it yourself, didn't you?
I did. Yes. Yeah. I'm not. When I have time to research things, I dig into it.
Okay.
If there's just a slight incline that I've been deceived, I'll check into it, and I'll check in more than one reference, and I just didn't feel good about it. They were then, in thinking back how the whole process went, like with luring us into the jewelry store to get that bracelet, just the sequence of events I was able to think about, and I didn't feel good about it, and that's what prompted me to research it even more.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Rachel, as far as, your thoughts Because I know you've been in the business for a few years, but
I'm honestly still like kind of speechless.
okay.
Because I mean we see it all the time, but we don't hear this. This is the first I've heard, the story of what they've done, and it's kind of disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very unfair. And guess what, folks? It's only the beginning. Because after you came back and you found this out, you thought because you told me this, but I'll let you say it in your own words, but remember how the seminar people said, don't worry, we've got your back, we'll take care of you? Did that come into play, and did you think, oh, well, all right, I'm okay? Were you concerned at first?
No, I wasn't concerned at first. I thought they had our back, and they also had us register our items or our invoice numbers before we get off
Really?
the ship. Yeah, and I thought that was just their warranty, and if you read the back of the form, which they did not give us a copy of the form, the only reason I know what it says is because I went on the internet again and I re-registered it, and I read the back of the form, and it wasn't a warranty against buyer's remorse or anything like that. Only if a diamond fell out of your jewelry, then they would repair it. It
Period.
didn't have to do with appraisals or anything like that.
Or whether you got a good deal or not, or anything that anyone said to you?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
All right. Well, what I've got here is a copy of the back sheet of what she was just discussing. And you can probably see it's all yellowed out. There's so much in here that we need to go through that we've actually going to bring in an attorney in our next episode to go through this, because there's so much in here that protects them and completely puts you with basically no footing whatsoever for any kind of recourse against what's happened to you. It's going to blow your mind, and neither one of us has the capacity to go through it all. So we've actually going to bring in a local attorney to go through it and explain exactly what you signed and and how everything that's happened, how they're going to just wash their hands of all of this and try to walk away and not take care of you at all, which is why we're doing this in the first place, because I've had it. I mean, like I said, business is business. You want to go to a particular jewelry store and someone wants a discount and give you a better price, that's fine. But if you're just going to lie to them or deceive them all the way through the process, and then when the minute they walk out the door, they've overspent, when they walk out thinking that they've got the best deal in their lifetime, that's not right. Just morally, just not right.
Right.
And this jewelry industry is our industry. We're in it. And I don't have sour grapes. I'm not mad because we lost a sale. I'm mad because they ripped you off. See, and that's different. And that's one of the problems with not just the jewelry industry, in any industry. You can go to a guy, we talked about in one of our episodes about going to a repair shop for your car, and the guy says you need a new transmission. Okay, I guess so. You don't know. You assume that
you're trusting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they're telling you the truth, and it made a noise, and so and they say you need a whole new transmission. Maybe you just needed one part, little tiny part, but you don't know, and they'd fix it, and they charge you $10,000, and it was only a $50 repair. Yep. It can happen in any industry, but because it's in our industry, this is why we're doing this, because it's upsetting to me, to Rachel, to all of us, and we just want to bring this information out to the public, and then let you choose what you want to do with it, and also try to help you recover your losses and all of this.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to be back the end of this episode. We're going to come into a next one, and we'll have our attorney present, and we'll be able to talk more detail about exactly the ramifications of where her case stands at this point going forward. We'll see you in the next show.